Also, I mean, of course, one of the pain points is dependence on US dollar. Some countries definitely, greatly suffering, like Egypt. One day Gask is saying, I'm going to pay at sight. Then they say, I'm going to pay with 180 days deferred. You see, so I mean, in Turkey also it varies. So definitely there should be other solutions than only trading in dollars. And of course, related to this is lack of trade finance, because in Turkey, for example, right now you have interest rates at 25%. I don't know how you can trade anything at these rates. And then commercially inefficient contracts, of course. I mean, usually, just to get the other party's signature, it takes execution person days or even a week, and the market is changing, and you need the signed contract for a bank to get trade finance. So basically, there should be some solutions, and fortunately, blockchain is coming to the rescue. Blockchain has multiple benefits for the real life and multiple applications, obviously a lot beyond cryptocurrencies. But I would say the four most interesting for our business are that blockchain is an irrefutable and unalterable record keeper, so which keeps all the basically stages of the transaction. Then I would say obviously the smart contracts with the principle of atomic swap, which basically ensures the trust. That's why blockchain is called trustless, as trust is in the nature of blockchain. So, for example, the smart contract would mean one is buying a digital book with, let's say, Bitcoin, and smart contract ensures that both parties simultaneously get what they need, or this transaction doesn't happen. And so that also, just to answer probably the question about the settlement and clearing, is that this atomic swap principle ensures it, simply ensures it. You don't need, or like in international payments, you first move the money, then it is settled, so it's always, there is a lag of time. But here, it happens simultaneously. Now, another benefit of blockchain is in international payments. Already multiple initiatives, including one by IBM, are in place, or you have TransferWise, which is having more than 4 million customers using blockchain, and they use basically in between different currencies, they use cryptocurrencies and ensure almost instantaneous payments without going through usual banking system of corresponding banks, etc. And here we have also new possibilities of trade finance, including new sources like stable coins. In general, I was thinking about so much cryptos basically sleeping, You have even the term crypto whales, the big holders of cryptocurrencies. They could have, lended this money to the needed parties. But of course, traders don't want cryptos because it's too volatile. But here comes stable coins which are pegged to US dollar or gold, and it can change a lot of things. So we're going to talk about some projects. These are private projects in agribusiness using blockchain. We have two Australians, which are AgriDigital and AgriChain, which are pioneers. I would say they've been doing it already for 3 years. They we'll talk later. They are focused on logistics improvement mainly, but they've done multiple pilot projects in blockchain, and definitely they deserve a praise. Then we have two Singaporean companies. One is Kratos, another DLT Ledgers. By the way, DLT Ledgers is working with AgroCorp, who is one of the grain companies very active in having their blockchain platform. And so then we continue. There are obviously blockchain consortiums. The one most interesting for us is ABCD plus COFCO, but basically we have not much information. Nothing is known on the internet where they are with the initiative. We just heard that it's for post-trade execution, to digitize the process, the documents, and basically they want to invite other parties, but I think probably it won't be too easy, because it's a question if traders want to go to this platform owned by the biggest company in the sector. Then you have several trade finance consortium. Most known of them is here in Geneva, Congo, I would say. Congo, which basically already have an app. They are live, and the app enables interactions between mainly petroleum companies and banks in terms of letters of credit. It's all digitized. So yeah, I mean, it's a good advance, I would say, but not much use of blockchain beyond that. So you have consortium like WeTrade, which is WeTrade, which is focused on European SMEs. This is pretty easy, I would say, and they just lend to European SMEs. But of course, nobody is joining forces to lend to emerging market SMEs. Then you have different others, Marco Polo, Voltron, so several. All of them basically are already live. Okay. So now we're going to talk about platforms targeting to improve contracting and execution in agribusiness. Of course, it's again ABCDs. Then there is Kratos in Singapore, which went live with their app. Yeah, basically it remains to be seen if it will be efficient, and traders will be attracted, because these people are basically IT boutique and not from our sector. So they want to trade different commodities, and frankly, I don't believe in not focused platforms. Otherwise, you have ComoChain, which are our, basically, I would say, brothers. They're here in Geneva. They are building an app for contracting and execution. We don't know at which stage they are. We don't have any. We haven't seen any demo, but we presume yes, they advancing, and they are focused first of all on softs like sugar, etc. Then you have us and DLT Ledgers. It's another company from Singapore. which is basically providing different blockchain services, the app for traders, then other elements for logistics. So then you have platforms specifically targeting to improve trade finance. Okay, again, Congo, WeTrade, we just said, Kratos also, Marco Polo is also a consortium of several banks. All these consortiums are mainly using non-public blockchains, so its access there is restricted. You have Bankabi, which is basically a little bit different from all others, and we can see it here, is that Bankabi, based in Singapore, is trying to basically fix commodity supply chains in low trust developing markets. Concretely, they, for example, taking care of rice going from Vietnam to Nigeria and nuts the way back. And they said, like, why it's all happening with dollars in between. Instead, let's tokenize these commodities and use the tokens and basically use the both emerging market currencies, and we avoid the dollar, you know, because who would need basically Nigerian naira, what was his name, Vietnamese buyers of Nigerian nuts, of course. And so it's pretty revolutionary, but I would say the development is pretty slow. It's pretty slow because to match these flows is not an easy task. So we have platforms targeting to improve supply chains logistics. So the champions are definitely AgriDigital and AgriChain, like two brothers fighting each other in Australia. Australia is a very tech-savvy market, the local one. The farmers are all techy, and so they digitized those two platforms, digitized the whole process. So documents are digital. So they use blockchain. And it looks like they have a lot of success. You have also GrainChain, which is a US company, which raised lately 2.5 million for their project, and they are targeting in US basically also, you know, silo receipts management, etc., all related to local logistics. So then let's talk about technologies very quickly. So different platforms use different blockchains. There are private ones like Quorum or Corda. Quorum is a blockchain of JP Morgan Chase, developed by them, and a lot of consortiums are using those two. Or Hyperledger, which is more like a hub for blockchain software than a blockchain. And then you have public blockchains. Everybody can come and do the transactions on it, like Ethereum or Stellar, which is a blockchain we are using, for example. The reason we are using it is that it's much faster than Ethereum. So up to, I think, 8,000 transactions per second. Ethereum is only, how much, Robert? 100? Or?
That's per second?
Yeah.
14?
14. Yeah.
14?
So 14.
1.4.
Yeah. And Stellar is like 1,000. So we use Stellar, it goes very quick. Okay, so now the challenges, blockchain challenges in agribusiness, obviously, you know, changing the mindset for wide adoption. Yes, of course. I mean, but on the other side, now we are traveling a lot, and especially in emerging markets, traders are very enthusiastic. The only thing, of course, they are asking, what about banks? Will the banks accept? Well, it's not yet the case, but they themselves are in blockchain consortiums, and for themselves, digital documents will be a much better thing than paper one. So I'm expecting the banks to come on board. Then also clients in emerging markets asking about how blockchain recordings will be accepted by GAFT arbitration, for example. And we've discussed it with both of GAFT arbitration, and basically we understood that if we provide a clear PDF contract with all contract details alongside all blockchain recordings, which are linked, connected, the recordings to the exact actions like of its contract, like signature, like vessel nomination, etc. Then for GAFT arbitration, it should be enough, because otherwise you will see now in the demo there are just blockchain recordings. They will mean nothing for arbitrators. It's just the lines of numbers with timestamps. So, but we're gonna have a tool like this installed on our platform very soon. Okay. So then let's say for the future, okay, this year is a year most blockchain startups in our sector are going live. We too, expecting to go live in July. Then I think, expecting issues of government-backed cryptos imminently. Russia is working on crypto ruble. Saudi Arabia and Arab Emirates also working on one. Other countries. And so the rise of stable coins as source of trade finance already said. We see a lot of potential in this asset, I would say. And further down the road, I would see blockchain platforms like ours and others simply will melt into community, and trading community will take over them. We also, at a certain stage, expect to come on the open market with a security token offering, for example, in order for community to be part of our platform. So thank you very much for your attention. And now I would like to show you the demo of our app, just to basically confirm that it's not just blah blah blah. There is some substance behind it. Just one second, let me just okay. Here it is.
Okay, so we don't need to download anything. We just need to log in with our email address and password. And here we would need to enter immediately our secret key. So basically our system provides both secret and public key. This is required in order to sign all the actions on the blockchain. So here we are going to enter the private key of the seller. Okay, now we see his profile. So he can browse the bids and offers, and for example, he can see CIF Marmara, FOB ready. He can see some details, price, etc. There will be chat function very soon. He will be able to ask for some questions the other party. So then let's say he decides to respond to this bid, which is for 25,000 of Russian corn on FOB Novorossiysk, and the price is 175. It's a code. We see the company name and payment CAD Swiss Bank. So the seller decides to enter into a firm negotiation with the buyer. He pushes create a contract. Here he will fill initial details. I'm a seller, trade name, FOB number, and here we're gonna choose FOB template, counterparty Turkish serials. Here we can add more notes like I'd like to make a contract with you for 25K of course.
So sorry.
And here we go. We are already connecting to blockchain. Okay, now we are going to enter as a buyer. Same story. We would need to enter his secret key only once during the session. Okay, here we are. So the buyer can check the list of his trades, and he has a lot of trades already, and he can see this trade FOB Novo for coin. Okay. Now on the other side, the seller, he will make a firm offer. He decides to make a firm offer to the buyer. So he goes into this trade as well. Okay. So here he will add his contract terms. He will add his contract terms. Here we will give him some time, for example, 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Let's see here. And we push submit. So here, as soon as we push on sign and submit, it means that we digitally sign the firm offer and we are engaged in front of the buyer. So we are connecting to blockchain. By the way, we can already take a look into blockchain, which is Stellar Blockchain Explorer, and we have already actions between 7 seconds ago and 2 minutes ago, all basically registered. We can see these individual actions. We have a timestamp. We have the fee, how much cryptocurrencies it costs. It's very little amount, and the ledger into which it's been registered. Then we get back there, and we're gonna open this trade, this contract on the buyer side. So we see the bell, which means this stage requires action. So we see, okay, here is the firm offer. We see it's waiting for approval. Expiring time, less than 20 minutes now. We can eventually either reject and state the reason here, or approve. So we basically download the terms, we check the terms, and if okay, we say we approve. And as soon as we sign and submit, we also then sign the contract digitally. And that means we are engaged, and the contract now is signed by both parties. So on the seller's side, we're gonna see that it's approved by Serdar Koch, the trader of the buyer's company, at this time. So we have a signed contract. Then we would complete this stage. So contract, we would cite a reason, contract is signed. Always connecting to the blockchain. And we go to the buyer side. And on the buyer side, we see confirm closing. We say OK, approve, sign and submit. OK, so we go into the seller's profile, confirm closing. OK. Right, so then what we have here, we have the whole execution flow. The whole execution flow for this contract, beginning from stage 1. So it's divided into 11 stages. The stage 1 is buyer to charter the vessel and send his vessel nomination to the seller. It goes through giving the agents, documentary instructions, etc., and it ends with dispatch demurrage. When they are settled, paid, the party receiving the money declares the end of this contract. So, as we have a FOB contract, the buyer basically, we can either close these stages or we can leave them open and get back to them. We can already go to later stages, but always can come back to the previous one. For example, if we need to substitute the vessel. And so on this stage, the buyer gonna simply add his vessel nomination. He would put here is my vessel nomination. Basically, he doesn't need another counterparty's approval. He just submitted it, connecting to the blockchain, and so we go into the seller's profile. And we can see here, that there is a vessel nomination submitted by the buyer, so it's fine for us. We basically just a second. Okay. So the owner of the stage is the person who provides the input, vessel nomination in this case, has the right to require to complete the stage. And so it's exactly what we are doing here.
Okay, so it goes. Sorry for some noise and thanks for your patience. So we built it in 6 months with very limited resources, and most of the companies use IBM or Consensys to build. We did it ourselves with my colleagues, Robert Zaremba, our Chief Technology Officer, and we have 3 other developers, and Nikita Rodionov here, the marketing manager. Thanks a lot. Any questions you have, please?